835th year, the Vatican creates schools for teaching priests exorcism. 2018, the number of cases of obsession reaches incredible numbers, so the Vatican decides to open schools outside Rome. Nuns are strictly forbidden to study the techniques of exorcism, their role in the rite. Helping the sick. A young nun is engaged and helps in exorcism at Boston University. There the girl attends classes where psychiatrist Dr. Peters tells how to behave with patients during the expulsion of evil spirits. After classes, the sisters take care of the patients who are kept within the walls of this university. In the evening, sitting in her room, En sees a girl patient and it seems that strange sounds are heard around. During the day, while doing her usual things at the institute, the girl hears snatches of the recording of the demon exorcism session coming from the audience. En cautiously slips into the classroom, where Father Quinn tells the example of this case about the mistakes that were made by the priests. After the lectures, she goes to the library where she listens to the recording several more times and looks through the case materials. She is caught doing this by one of her sisters, who immediately reports everything to Father Quinn. The man sees how the girl aspires to study, but the older nuns remind that the Vatican strictly forbids women to be allowed to the rite of expulsion of the dark forces. They believe that their business is to help in recovery after rituals. During a visit to one of the patients, he suddenly lashes out at En, assuring her that he has been looking for her for many years. It turns out that the girl's mother was possessed and only in the monastery the poor thing manages to hide from the persecution of dark forces. Seeing that the devil found the girl very quickly, Father Quinn offers to allow Anne to attend exorcism classes so that she can protect you. At the very first lesson, Father Quinn leads the young priests to a closed part of the institution, where a little girl Natalie is sitting in an isolated room and took care of her when she first entered. Quinn asks the group who is willing to enter the room voluntarily. Father Raymond and Dante are happy to accept this challenge. Upon entering the room, the puppies begin the ritual, but the demon sitting in the girl is not so simple. He seems to mock the prayers that Dante and Raymond recite. At some point, the girl approaches the glass partition of her room and covers her face with her palms. Ulcers appear on the baby's hands, from which larvae begin to fall. After that, Natalie asks Anne to bless her. Realizing that the demon is too strong, Father Quinn himself enters the room to help his students. The possessed girl climbs under the bed, and when the Holy Father comes closer, grabs him by the legs, knocking him to the floor. Dante and Raymond immediately rush to his aid, and Anne, realizing that there is no other way out, takes a prayer book and enters the room. She manages to reach the mind of Natalie herself, but after realizing this, the demon begins to act with renewed vigor. He knocks the baby to the floor and puts her own hair in the baby's mouth. Quinn's father tells Raymond and Dante to hold the baby's hair, and he and En begin to say a prayer. After a couple of minutes, everything falls silent. Natalie comes to her senses and it becomes clear that the demon exorcism session was successful. After classes, the Holy Fathers and En discussing what happened, Dante shows a drawing that he found in Natalie's room. It depicts a black female figure with a rounded belly. The young man says that it was apparently intended for him. The younger sister of the priest was raped and she became pregnant, and when she lost the child, she stopped being herself, as if madness had happened in her head. At night, Anne has nightmares in which her obsessed mother is present. In the morning, the nun comes to Natalie's room. She is trying to find out what the girl remembers after exorcising the demon, when during the conversation the baby falls asleep and En sees a sharp twitching of the child's hand. Approaching Father Quinn, she asks about it. The man says that most likely they failed to completely clean the child's body. They plan to observe Natalie for some more time, and if it turns out that their rite did not help, she will be transferred to the Vatican. This means that the university will confirm that in the case of a girl it is terminal. Only the most sophisticated exorcists can cope with it. When En asks permission to help Natalie, Quinn's father assures her that it is impossible. The one who exorcises demons can be neither a friend nor an enemy for the possessed. Only neutral relations can bring a positive result in a difficult matter. Returning to his room, En sits down to study. She searches the web and books for some information about terminal cases. In their library and archives, such cases are kept classified. Father Dante, noticing the girl's interest, helps her to get into the archive by distracting the abbess. Among the numerous cases, and finds the only one in which the victim was released. All the others either died during the ceremony or were sent to the Vatican. After reviewing the interview with the freed girl, the nun realizes that she lives with an incredible sense of guilt and it is impossible to call her life ordinary in any way. Later, approaching Natalie's room, and realizes that access to her has been restricted. The girl immediately rushes to her father to the wine, trying to convince him that terminal cases mostly end in death. She is sure that the only reason is that none of the priests are trying to figure out what the demon wants from his victim. After all, these cases are exceptional, because the victims experience incredible shame and guilt, thus opening their soul to demons. Dante's father meets Anne in the hallway. He confesses that he overheard their conversation with Father Quinn and assures that the girl is right about everything. He also offers her to prove to everyone that if you see his real essence behind the possessed, the demon will retreat faster. Dante offers to hold a ceremony over his sister, because the church failed to place the girl at their university, and time is running out and the poor thing's strength is about to run out. Arriving at the parents' house, Dante and N see an exhausted Amelia. She talks to her, trying to summon all the girl's powers to fight the demons. At some point, Amelia's obsessive life begins to grow and small arms and legs become visible from under the skin. The girl herself suffers from incredible physical and moral pain, but Anne manages to find the words that help the girl regain power over her body. Extinguished candles light up again, and the light stops blinking. This tells friends that Amelia has been cleansed, now she completely belongs to herself. After standing on the balcony, En tells Dante the details of his life. 15 years old, she became pregnant, but because of the large amount of alcohol, she could not even remember who exactly the father of the child was. After learning about this, the girl's adoptive parents kicked her out and then she was able to find her salvation only in a monastery. There she was accepted and taken care of, and when the baby was born, she was immediately picked up by a good family. Since then, Anne has been praying every day for the well-being of her daughter, whom she happened to hold in her arms only once. The next morning, Cardinal Matthew calls the nun, who informs her that Father Dante's sister committed suicide. The girl's mother assures that on the eve of H, together with Amelia's brother, they performed an exorcism rite. Father Quinn reports that they both failed the church by breaking the law. Realizing that the mistake led to the death of a man, the nun is going to return to the monastery of St. Mary. After a while, Dr. Peters comes to Anne. The woman says that Natalie was allowed to go home. Observations showed that the girl was completely cleansed. The nuns could not hold back tears of joy from such news. The doctor also gave her a book that describes how to heal a mental trauma. A little later, Father Dante appeared in the walls of the monastery. He reports that Natalie had a relapse when she was taken to the university. She killed 2 policemen and a priest. The girl was placed in the catacombs under the main building and Dante assures that she has only a few hours left. But the question is why the priest came to her with this question. The young man shows the cross that was in the girl's hand on the night when she was brought, and realizes that Natalie is her daughter. The demons are using her to get to the nun. Dante's father takes the girl to the dungeon in the catacombs under the university building. There, Quinn's father and Raymond are trying to exorcise the devil from the girl. When they see H, they are confused, but everything falls into place when the child, in the voice of the devil, informs them that he has been waiting for her for a long time. The light in the dungeon goes out and an unknown force begins to scatter the priests in different directions. Hearing Raymond's screams, Dante and N rush to his aid. Seeing that a colleague is dead, the young people go forward, where Natalie is already waiting for them. The girl starts talking about what hurts the most to hear N. At first, she reproaches her for abandoning the child, and then reminds her about the obsession and the death of her mother. Having surrendered, the girl admits her defeat to the demon. At this moment, he and Natalie fall to the floor senseless. Seeing how the devil captures the body of H, Dante grabs the girl and hurries to the exit. The demon throws the priest away and grabs the baby. Images suddenly pop up in Enna's head when she heard her mother's voice asking her to fight. She manages to find the strength to put a cross on her forehead and plunge into the font with holy water. Dante, who has regained consciousness, pulls the girl to dry land. Coming to his senses in the university ward, En sees Natalie. The girl, along with her foster mother, came to pick up things and visit the nun. Promising never to forget about her, the girl goes home. A little later, Cardinal Matthew, along with Father Queen, call Anne to talk. They claim that the girl definitely has a gift for fighting otherworldly forces, so they decided to send her to study at the Vatican Academy. So H became the first female exorcist in the last 7 centuries. At parting, Father Quinn warns the young nun that now that she is familiar with the devil, he is also familiar with her. Friends, thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel, give the thumbs up, and also do not forget about our Busty and Telegram. Yes, we are there too. Watch everything everywhere and at once with AMF Films, The World, and goodbye bye.